Hey, everybody. Welcome to MFSN The Hub. It is Thursday afternoon, which means we're here to talk fantasy football again. We got our first game of the evening tonight, a great weekend ahead of us. But more importantly, I have the greatest co-host in the history of sports media. Ross, say hi to everybody.
Co-host, huh? Thursday, I am the co-host. So, hi, everybody. Welcome to MFSN The Hub. I'm your co-host, Ross the Boss. I'm here with Casey Vlad to the Bone Shinefold. Introduce yourselves. And it should be a fun game tonight. You know, Casey, I was telling you off camera how sloppy and how, bad the teams, even if they're a good team like San Francisco, who's really a well-oiled machine, it doesn't matter. Like Thursday night's always like a slop
Thursdays
fest.
you're coming back with only 3 days really of rest. That's, I mean, for a game as physical as football, that's just.
Yeah, Ayuk's 50%, I just heard, so he'll either play or not. And then your boy Barkley's not playing at all.
He's out. What's
out
Waller? Have they said anything about Darren
Waller's
Waller?
playing. I haven't heard anything negative yet, but Waller's playing. He should be a big part of the Giants' offense today. I see him getting 6-7 receptions at least.
He's going to be the target monster if he stays on the field.
Yeah.
So.
But I think the only way the Giants can win is if they throw the ball out, not in the middle, but out in the sidelines, which they hate doing for some reason. But they got to do that tonight if they want to win.
Yeah. I guess the biggest story since Tuesday is probably the Cam Akers trade to the Vikings. What is that? What do you think that trade means for fantasy purposes?
I mean, Madison has not been playing well. So, and the offensive coordinator for Minnesota used to be with the Lambs when the first 2 years when Akers was there. So obviously the guy wants him back in Minnesota. I mean, I think this will help Cam. I mean, Cam's career in LA was done. He was never going to get another rep ever again. I don't know what he did or said, but there must be something behind closed doors that happened. I have no idea. But I mean, Cam was a top 10 running back the last 6 games of the year last year. So
his numbers were crazy.
All you Cam Akers owners who didn't drop him, congratulations, because I think he'll be getting some reps. Not this week. He'll probably be in a sweatsuit on the sidelines, but next week he'll be ready.
So all those people who invested heavily in Alexander Madison thinking he's finally getting the prime running back job, do you think they're going to be in for some bad news?
Matt, do you think Madison looked good in the past 2 weeks?
No, he hasn't, but a lot of the best players haven't looked good in the first 2 weeks. Our cover boy is one of them. And you proposed the most ridiculous question ever, and you've had some ridiculous questions. Is he overpaid? Why do you ask if he's overpaid?
Dude, he's making $55 million this year. $55 million, highest paid NFL player. He's I'm a Bengal fan. I can say this. He's 0-2. He's been looking awful in these games. Not good, not bad, but awful, Casey Shinefold.
I know, but he's also injured.
Well, then you know what? If you're hurt, don't play. I mean, it's that easy. If you're hurt, tell the coach, listen, I want to rest.
If you want to talk about the most overpaid player in the NFL, I think he's the quarterback of the other Ohio team.
Deshaun Watson?
I mean, gosh, the guy was out of football for 2 straight years, and they still guaranteed him, $40 million a year.
A $240 million contract? Listen, I thought it was a mistake when it happened. And again, he has not proven to me that he's worth that money. Not even close. And I think when these guys get paid, they get comfortable and they don't want to put their body out there. I get it. But Joey Bucks, I'm calling Joe Burrow that from now on. Joey Bucks is his new name. We're calling him. He has to either rest and get better or play and get the ball to Jamar Chase. That's all I got to tell you.
Right.
Yeah, Chase, who's top 5 receiver in the league, is not touching the ball. So
probably
there you go.
2 receiver in the league.
Well,
maybe 3 if you put Tyreek Hill into that class. But
yeah, Tyreek Hill's hurt too. He's questionable this weekend. So there you go. Yeah.
That'll be interesting because I think Miami-Denver could be a shootout. Tua was one of my top quarterbacks this weekend.
Well, Tua right now, and if you go to Vegas and want to bet the MVP of the league, it's Tua's the 6 is actually like 6-1. He's like the odds on right now. He's the favorite. Yeah. He's the favorite for MVP right now. But that can change next week. I mean, one good game by somebody, and all of a sudden this guy's the MVP. So, I think Brock Purdy was like 50-1. So there you go.
So Why don't we start by talking about tonight's game? It could be, as we already mentioned, it could be a sloppy game because they haven't had enough time to rest from the previous weekend, prepare for this week. So we don't expect both teams to be running like a well-oiled machine, but I have a hard time seeing the Giants doing anything offensively in this game. How do you see it?
I think Waller's going to have a big game. Danny Dimes will be running around like a nut. He'll have a lot of rushing yards, maybe over even 50 or 60. I see both tight ends for both teams, Kittle and Waller, being big fantasy components this week. If you have either of those guys, make sure you start them. Luckily, I have Waller and Kittle in a lot of my leagues, so I'm starting both of them. Kittle hasn't done anything. I mean, I don't even know he's still on the team because he's done nothing this season.
I hate playing players on Thursday night. I just do.
Tell me why.
Because if they have a bad game, you have to sit with that for 2 full days. Feeling
but
like, oh my God, I'm already beat this week because, my quarterback crapped the bed or whatever.
Right, but guess in our league that we have together, where it's the Superflex League with 12 teams, I have Hurts and I have Cousins, and they both played last Thursday, and they both had huge games.
Yeah, I was going to say that was then there's that side of it where you can puff your chest out for 2 days thinking you're invincible. But
yeah, you have big scores, big lead. You're all happy. You're ready to roll. But I think fantasy-wise, I'm worried about Ayuk. I don't know if he's playing. If he does play, I think he'll have a touchdown. I think Kittle's going to have a touchdown. I think Purdy's going to have at least be involved in like 2 touchdown catches. Like he'll throw the ball at least for 2 touchdowns.
What's your pick on McCaffrey?
McCaffrey, they said at the beginning of the season that he's going to not be used like a maniac. And what happened last game? Elijah 100%. Mitchell had
100% utilization,
zero rushes, zero handoffs. And McCaffrey had everything. He was in the whole time. So
I heard a stat this morning that he's on pace right now for 367 carries or something this year. And even Kyle Shanahan admitted he screwed up. He forgot about.
Oh, he did admit. Okay, well, Elijah Mitchell. How do you? Let's go back to that. How do you? Professional coach, I'm sitting on the couch saying, God, McCaffrey's been almost in every play. Is he getting a breather? I mean, isn't there like an offensive coordinator or running back coach that can say to the head coach that maybe we should rest McCaffrey? I mean, that's the dumbest thing ever in my life. I mean, for a guy to say, I forgot. Seriously, you didn't forget. There's no way.
Yeah.
If Ross the boss is watching these games and I notice that McCaffrey's getting the ball almost all the time. He never gets a fresh breath of air, and Mitchell's been out. I mean, the coach knows. That's ridiculous. But I think Elijah Mitchell will get involved in the offense today. I can see him getting the ball a good amount of times, especially if he had the lead. I'm surprised that I think McCaffrey will be involved, but I don't think he'll be involved as much as the past 2 weeks.
Okay. And how about on the other side of the ball? How about the Giants?
Well, your boy Brenda, right? Didn't he play for the 49ers?
Breda. Yeah. Do you believe in the revenge game? The revenge game kind of idea?
Well, the 49er defense is pretty good. They're not the Arizona Cardinals who they played last. It's not the Cardinals from last week, Casey. It's not the Cardinals.
Still a great comeback.
It's still not the Cardinals from last week. So the 49ers defense will be there. And then they're in Santa Clara. You know what Purdy's record is in Santa Clara, career-wise?
Is he undefeated?
10-0. Yeah, he's undefeated. So it doesn't look good for you, Casey.
I don't have a lot of. I'm glad we beat Arizona because otherwise we're staring 0-3 at a barrel.
It's true.
Down the barrel.
It's true.
The first,
but I see your guy, the rookie I like tonight, also in fantasy. I don't know. I just have a feeling he'll have a touchdown. Is Hyatt?
Jalen Hyatt.
I think Hyatt's going to have a touchdown on your side, and I think Jones will at least rush one in, because they're going to play. If they're up a lot, they'll let Jones go crazy. They don't care. Just get the clock ticking and get the game over with. But again, the spread's like 10.5. It's a lot of points.
Yeah, I don't like betting the spread. I don't like. I mean, it's a home favorite, so that's good. But 10.5, like. It's one interception for a touchdown, and it's hard to cover that spread.
It's just late in the game. The coach wants to score a touchdown in the game to get momentum going for the Giants, and he'll do it, and they'll win by 10 points. Yeah, he'll miss it.
So we don't give betting advice on here, but
not at all.
we're not real thrilled with trying to take a 10.
No, I would stay away if I was a better on this game. 100%.
All right, first game on. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm
nine,
going to
go 9. So I'll be watching Red Zone. Well, I have softball. I have softball in the morning
10 a.m. your
too,
time.
but yeah, it's early. I have softball, but I'll catch these second halves. What games do you want to talk about, Case?
I think the two biggest from a fantasy perspective, meaning that they're going to be the highest scoring games, in my opinion, are Denver at Miami and the Chargers at Minnesota. We already referenced Kirk Cousins, but their defense is pretty poor. San Diego's defense hasn't exactly been lighting it up, and there is a lot of offensive weapons in that game. So given that Cam Akers might be in street clothes or maybe in just a sub package here or there, do you run Alexander Mattison out there against the Chargers?
Oh yeah, it's business as usual for the Chargers. I mean, for the Vikings. I mean, they'll be. Cousins will be passing the ball. The Chargers defense is horrible. Addison should have a big day. Jefferson should have a big day, obviously. The tight end, Hawkinson is the highest paid tight end in the league. Will have a big day. I mean, Minnesota is going to put up points. And Madison is just. I'm not a big fan. Again, I'm not a big fan of his. I don't know what kind of game he's going to have, but if I had him, I would try not to start him.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting when I drafted. I had in our Superflex League startup dynasty. I took Jefferson with the 5th pick, and I was ironically kind of worried because I wasn't sure Kirk Cousins would be able to feed that many mouths. When you add in Addison and Hawkinson, but last week, I mean, Jefferson didn't catch a touchdown, but 128 yards or whatever it was, and Kirk Cousins has proven to be a pretty fantasy-friendly quarterback.
I mean, I think he's one of the highest paid quarterbacks before
this is the last
Joey Bucks
year of his.
Yeah, but he signed a huge deal. He was the highest paid quarterback for a couple years, and then these other quarterbacks like Burrow and Mahomes came in, and Rodgers, they all came in and are making more money. But Kirk Cousins has great weapons and a great offensive coordinator. And the running game is garbage. I mean, again, stay away from the running game. Horrible.
So if Minnesota loses this game and the Jets come calling, do you send Kirk Cousins to the Jets?
I mean, do you ever hear about like mid-season trades like that? I mean, I haven't heard these mid-season trades in years. I mean,
but it's the last year of his contract. They're not going to extend him big if they're Minnesota because he's not a spring chicken and not somebody you want to build around.
That's a good question. I don't think so. I think he stays just because.
Just something I thought of.
I mean,
now, tell me about your Chargers.
Not my Chargers, but it's like, I think that the Chargers are like the land of lost toys. I mean, they have all these toys to play with, but they can never play together as a team. They're
misfits.
There's misfits. They really are. I mean,
is Eckler back?
He hasn't been practicing. If he's back, I mean, there's no timeline according to the coach, so I don't think he's back. No one's told me. No one reported at all that he's back. He's not at practice.
Practice yesterday.
Yeah,
he misses practice today. So
it doesn't look promising. If you miss practice on Wednesday and Thursday, you playing on Sunday is no good. At least you show up and you're at the sidelines, like running some drills. But I don't see Eckler playing this week. No, it's going to be Joshua Kelly.
So do you like Joshua Kelly against Minnesota?
Yes, Minnesota's defense.
Because last week he struggled because he was going up against a very good defense.
Minnesota's defense is bull shack, horrible, blow dryer city, I call it. Not a good team, horrible. But it should be a high scoring affair. I think both teams will put up some points, and it should be fun to watch. But overall, I think Minnesota should win the game, especially at home.
Okay. And then the other one I like is Miami at Denver. Denver has been a terrible defense. I actually like Raheem Mostert in this matchup. And Tua might be one of the top rated quarterbacks this week if Tyreek Hill plays. You told me off the air that Tyreek Hill is injured.
He's questionable. You can look it up. He tweaked something in practice a couple of days ago or something, but he'll probably play. I haven't heard that he's not. I just know he's questionable. They just put that on there because
Yeah.
Did you know that when they give the injury reports, there's no more probable. Those days
And
are
there's no more
over.
doubtful. There's questionable.
I thought I saw doubtful.
No, they got rid of doubtful too.
I didn't know that. Because I thought one of the players I
You
saw.
know, the whole point of these things was to make the injury reports less vague, right? But all they've done is make it more vague.
Yeah. So as you mentioned, I mean, it should be high. I mean, Russell Wilson's playing great. I mean, he's really throwing the ball well. It's a lot better than last year. Jerry Judy's back. I mean, they really have their squad back. But I don't see them going into in Miami winning that game. I mean, I think Tua. Waddle's question. Another guy, concussion. Waddle's questionable also. So you got two of their best receivers questionable. But I think, kidding aside, I think both those guys will play, and I think both those guys will have good games. And Tua, you know, he's going to win that MVP. We'll see if he doesn't get hurt. See what happens. Spin the wheel.
What do you is any updates on Christian Watson that you've heard? Did he practice today?
He's questionable, Casey Scheinfeld. That's the good news. The bad news is I have not heard if he practiced yet, but they have a Q next to his name when I see it. So that's the good news. But I do love, you know, what's not to love about Dobbs and about who's that other receiver that's been doing great? I mean, they have two good receivers. Reed. Yeah.
Christian Watson missed practice today. That's a bad sign.
Yeah. But you know what? Jordan Love's not missing a beat. He looks terrific too. I like Green Bay's team this year. They just need Aaron Jones back. I mean, A.J. Dillon, between you and I, he's missing a step. He's old. He's slow. He's not the same running back he was. Albert, good afternoon.
Here's a question for us, Ross. Do you like George Pickens or Nico Collins in a full point PPR?
So Pittsburgh's playing prime time again. I saw. I mean,
Monday night.
They're back on Monday night. Sunday night
at Las Vegas.
That's a good offensive game. That's another game I want to talk about. So I like Pickens and Nico Collins. I love C.J. Stroud. I like that Houston offense, but I would probably start Pickens because I think Pittsburgh realized that they have to get him the ball more, especially what he did last week with that.
Yeah. Now he only had 4 receptions, but he's electric when he touches it. Nico. Yeah, they're going at Jacksonville, a rookie quarterback on the road. I don't know how much I trust that. Plus, he really likes Tank Dell. And so he may be looking his way a bit. I'd probably go Pickens too, just because of the
Sunday athleticism
night. Around
it's Sunday night. You can kick back and watch Pickens catch a touchdown. There you go. The Raiders have no defense.
No, they don't. The Raiders' defense is pretty atrocious. Najee Harris might look good this week. We'll see.
I hope Warren gets the ball. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, and he's the guy in the passing game, so that's good. I think this is the game that, you know, Pickett got a lot of hype in the preseason coming into his second year. He had, I mean, what was it? Cleveland and San Francisco, his first 2 games, not easy defenses. I think if Pickens has struggles Sunday night, I think we've overrated him, but I think you could see a bounce back game for him.
I'd like a high scoring game in that. I think you're right.
I'm worried about Freiermuth because he's not.
Freiermuth is not healthy.
He's not doing great.
No, I wouldn't start him if I was anybody. But start everybody else.
So let's see. Atlanta at Detroit.
So you know what I say. Detroit
at home.
They love that turf. They love playing indoors.
Yeah.
So there's gonna be a lot of scoring, Casey Scheinfeld.
And Jared Goff is a different animal at home.
And Goff, as bad as he was with their Lambs the last year he was there, he's playing unbelievable in Detroit. And Detroit is I think they're 10-1 now to win the NFC. I mean, they've been moving up a lot, Detroit. So I like Detroit. I think Detroit's going to score at least 30 points.
And the good news is Amon-Ra St. Brown returned to practice today.
Yep, so he's fine. And I think they'll be scoring a lot of points. They have 2 guys. They have a guy named Josh Reynolds who catches the ball, who's kind of banged up. I don't know if he's playing. And then they have the running back, Reynolds, who will be getting some handoffs.
Craig Reynolds. Jameer Gibbs hopefully gets the majority because I'm a Gibbs guy. But
I don't know if Gibbs – I'll make you a side bet. I bet Reynolds gets more handoffs than Gibbs.
I just hope he doesn't get more touches. I don't mind if he gets more handoffs. I want Gibbs to have 5 or 6 receptions.
I think you're right there. Yeah, he will.
So, yeah, and Atlanta outside of Bijan, do you really want to touch anybody?
I would touch Drake. I think he's starting to get the ball now. I like Drake.
You're a Desmond Ritter supporter?
I'm a Desmond Ritter guy. I just think he needs more games. The more comfortable he gets, the better he'll be. I mean, he was running the ball like a maniac last game. He'll be running again against Detroit. So this kid wants to win. I think he wants to prove people wrong. And Atlanta, to me, I think Arthur Smith's doing a great job there. I think he's unbelievable. But if you have, Bijan Mustard, man, I love that guy. I think he's the real deal. And I love watching him run. He runs really hard. He's really fast. I just hope if he can stay healthy the whole season, I think he could for sure win Rookie of the Year.
Do you believe in Mac Jones's resurgence?
I hate Mac Jones. I hate the Patriots. But
I think that is a no.
But they play the Jets this weekend. How many games do you think they've won in a row against the Jets, Casey Scheinfold?
I don't know. How many?
It's like 15. It's a crazy number. That's I was hearing. I was like, well, they haven't won in 8 years. It's crazy. So they play the Jets in Foxborough, which I think it's going to be. The Patriots are 0-2, so everything's stacking up for the Patriots.
Yeah,
they haven't won yet. They're playing the Jets, who they beat so many times in a row, and Zach Wilson is just awful. I mean, he throws picks like they're nothing. He doesn't look comfortable in the pocket. He's struggling. He looks horrible. And the Jets either will just throw away the season, let this kid start every game, or they'll bring in a veteran and try to win some games. So there you go. I don't think Zach Wilson's the answer, much as everybody likes to pump you up and say that he is.
I think if you drafted Garrett Wilson, you still have to put him out there.
You do. I mean, the one touchdown that he did score, it was all Garrett Wilson. It's because
it was a 5-yard slant.
It was a 5-yard slant, but he took the ball away from the DB. And
no, that was the one in the end zone. I'm talking about he scored last week on from 60 yards out on a 6-yard slant that he just took to the house.
No, I'm talking about the touchdown pass
where he tipped it around the defense back to himself.
I mean, that's all Garrett Wilson. So Zach Wilson's not the answer, folks. I'm sorry. And, it's just not going to be a good situation this week against the Patriots. If you're in Vegas, you know who to bet.
Washington has a sneaky good defense. Do you think they can contain the suddenly resurgent Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills?
People are just giving Buffalo that game, and that game to me,
it's a tough one. I could see it going either way.
DC. And DC has been playing, doesn't matter how good. I mean, they've been playing teams tough. And Buffalo doesn't look like a dominant team. They're not some team of, this team is unbelievable. They lost to the Jets without Aaron Rodgers in Buffalo, correct? No, it was in New Jersey. But that's right. But it was in New Jersey. It doesn't matter. So Buffalo's not this dominant team that everybody thinks they are. They beat the Raiders handily in Buffalo, which is fine. But again, in Buffalo, if you're starting fantasy players, I love James Cook. I love him starting the season. He's the alpha male for running backs in Buffalo.
Yep.
Diggs, you got to start. You got to start Allen. Those three. Knox is questionable. I don't know if he's playing, so make sure you check if you have Knox. Kincaid, I do like, especially if Knox does not play.
Doesn't play, sure.
Take Kincaid. Obviously, he'll be getting the ball a lot more. And then, the other receivers, Gabe Davis, is up and down. Good chance he could have a goose egg. You don't know what he's going to do.
Yeah.
And then on the other side, I love Thurston Howell III. I drafted him in our league, not because of his name, but just because I think he's going to just air it out like he did in North Carolina. He'll do the same thing in DC. I mean, this guy's a winner. And Brian Robinson he's a must start. In my book, you must start Brian Robinson, must.
And I think a healthy Logan Thomas is very underrated at tight end.
He's hurt again.
Is he hurt? Oh, darn it.
50-50. I mean, we'll see what happens. I mean, it's just every season.
Jahan Dotson, we really like. Scary Terry
McLaurin. Kid. Yep. He hit a touchdown. Yep. I mean, so DC is somebody that everybody overlooks. New owners. When you have new owners, you have players that are worried about their jobs. So they want to play extra hard. So they're there next year and they sign a big contract. So, they're all being looked at DC, so they want to win.
Yeah, but it could be a closer game than people are giving it credit for.
I agree.
We touched on it, but Houston at Jacksonville. I think you got to run almost all of your Jaguars out there. ETN could be great this week.
Good.
Calvin Ridley
love him.
was a number 1 receiver week 1, a number 7 receiver week 2. Hopefully he bounces back. This would be a matchup that would suit him well, I think.
ETM should be good, and you just got you also got Christian Kirk. I think will have a pretty good game.
Evan Ingram's out there.
So Jacksonville, you start. Houston's defense is garbage, and then CJ Stroud he had 360 yards passing last week. I mean,
and 2 touchdowns.
If they're behind, which they will be against Jacksonville, he'll be passing the ball. I don't see Pierce being that involved. I mean, I see them throwing the ball to Nico Collins. I see them throwing the ball to
Tank Dell,
and and Robert Woods and all these guys. I mean, they'll get the ball involved.
Is that there?
Yep, Schultz would be involved too, even though he hasn't been involved the past couple of weeks, but he will be. So they'll be passing the ball a lot. So CJ Stroud, fantasy wise, it's not a bad start. If they're behind, he'll throw the ball. He'll be running. He just doesn't run that much. I'm sure wish he would.
All right. The last of the 1:00 games is the Colts at the Ravens. And is Anthony Richardson still in protocol?
Still in protocol. Still questionable. He has to pass the test on Friday, the concussion test to play. So we'll find out Friday if he's playing or not. To go back, I mean, it's just the Colts are just their passing game is I like Gardner Minshew. I think he's a lot better passer than Anthony Richardson. I think he throws the ball to his receivers a lot better, I feel, but he doesn't have the running game like Richardson does. He's not.
No, Minshew might be better for the wide receivers, but he is not.
As you know, I love Gardner Minshew just because of his stash, and he got
seems like a good dude too.
He got a car for his graduation. He still drives it, which makes me laugh. I love that. I heard a rumor.
I heard a rumor that Bryce Young is going to be unavailable for the Carolina Panthers this weekend.
So he's questionable, Casey Seinfeld. And guess who's taking his place?
Andy Dalton, the Red Rifle or Rocket or whatever.
The Red Rifle. So my suggestion is you fly to Vegas, take the mortgage out of your house, and bet it all on Seattle because the Red Rifle will mess up a lot of stuff.
Yeah, but the good thing about this game is it's not prime time.
That's the only thing, but I have no faith in Andy Dalton.
But the 12th man, Seattle is a tough place to play. But
top 5 horrible places to play.
I think you're running Kenneth Walker out there. You're running Geno Smith out there. You're running
Metcalf, Lockett,
and Metcalf. Even maybe Jackson Smith and Jigba, but I don't think so. They don't really have a tight end, do they?
They do. They have Daisy, who I like a lot. I don't know if I would start him, but I do like him.
All right. How many points? Here's my question for you. How many points will they have, and how many different receivers will Pat Mahomes throw a touchdown to against the Chicago Bears?
So this is a double-digit game points-wise. It's like 12. It's like 12.5, 13. The Bears just fired their defensive coordinator yesterday or the day before. The FBI actually found some stuff at his house. I don't know. I don't want to talk about it.
No, I don't know enough about
crazy stuff. So crazy stuff is going on in Chicago. I just think this is my philosophy with Super Bowl winners, okay? And take it how you want. I think players get pumped up to play the Super Bowl champions. I really do. I know the Bears on paper looks like they'll get killed, but I just think players want to beat the Super Bowl champs. So if they don't win any games except this one, they'll be happy. So I would not bet. I would not say like Justin Fields. Oh, did you see really quick with Justin Fields? Did you see the press conference he did yesterday?
No. Oh, where he blamed his play on the coaching?
He blamed the play on the coaching, and then 10 minutes later, he had another press conference, and he took everything back. He said he's blaming himself. And that's a bunch of hogwash.
He got
It's
called
like,
onto the carpet after his case
oh
conference.
yeah,
Conference.
the coaches or whoever was in charge of the media said you got to go back out there and correct this because you made the coaches look bad.
Yeah,
and he's like, I did. I'm sure he meant what he said in the beginning, but so he had to go back and basically he said he takes all the blame, but he was blaming the coaches because of the play calling. But I think the Bears. I think the Bears will make a game of it. How about that? I don't know if they'll win, but I think it's going to be less than 10 points they'll lose by. How about that one, Casey Scheinfeld?
Hey.
But there'll be a lot of points that game. Justin Fields is going to have over. He's going to have a lot of yards.
Rush for like 85
yards. He's going to pass. He's going to get the ball to Moore. Okay. He's going to get the ball to everybody. It's going to be a good game.
I guess the biggest news out of Dallas this week is that Trevon Diggs has a torn ACL, so one of their star defensive backs is going to be out for the season. But I don't think that should matter this weekend for them as they travel to Arizona for the 4:25 game to play the collapsing Arizona Cardinals.
Well, tanking, you mean? They're tanking the season.
Do you think they went in at halftime when they were up 20-0 on the Giants and the coach was like, what the heck are you guys doing?
Do you see this guy? That's Khalid Williams. We want that guy on the team next year.
That's right.
Dobbs. I want three and out every time out of you.
That's
yes,
right.
sir.
Let them score. Make Daniel Jones look like Joe
3 and
Montana.
out. 3 and out. Let's not pass the ball. Let's just hand the ball off to Connor and 2-yard gain and let him get killed. So Dallas is going to go to Arizona. They're going to beat them by, I would say, at least by 15, 16
Tony
points.
Pollard's going to have a big game.
Pollard's big. I like Ferguson, the tight end. I think he'll have a touchdown. I think Lamb will have a touchdown. I see.
So you like Dak this week then too, huh?
I think Dak will have a good game. Yeah, he'll have a good game this week. And then on the other side,
would you even start anybody? James
I would
Conner?
probably. I would start is probably Hollywood Brown just because they'll be behind and they have to pass the ball. And
Josh Dobbs.
You know who else gets the ball a lot in targets? You can look this up. Is Zach
Ertz. Yeah.
So Ertz and Hollywood Brown.
Okay. Are you staying away from James Conner because that?
It just depends who you're the running back. So he'll get 15, 20 handoffs, but give somebody better start him, obviously.
Well, Sunday night is going to be a shootout. Sunday night, the mighty Pittsburgh Steelers travel to the not so mighty defensive home of the Las Vegas Raiders.
Is Pittsburgh on every primetime game? I mean, every time I turn the TV on, Pittsburgh's on.
The Steelers travel well, my friend.
I mean, it's unbelievable. And they
towel.
They were barely 500 last year. Who did this schedule? I mean, who is it? Jack Lampert? I mean, who's doing this stuff?
Primetime in Vegas, baby.
So primetime Vegas, I as I said, I like Garofalo. I think the guy's a winner, especially by his record. I think Garofalo is going to have a big game against the Pittsburgh D, who's really not that great. TJ Watt's a stud, though. But I mean, he's unbelievable. Defensive Player of the Year right now in my book. But I feel we'll see a big game out of Garofalo Sunday night. I think he'll love
Devontae Adams.
Devontae Adams, of course. If
you have to start him,
if Garofalo is having a big game, Devontae Adams is his favorite target. He'll have a touchdown. I think Josh Jacobs will do well running the ball. He'll have over 100 yards against the Pittsburgh D, who's not that great. And on the other side, I like Pinkett. I like Pickens. Pinkett, 200 yards, maybe 2 touchdowns. If I was,
I think he could have a big game. Okay? I think you're going to see Jaylen Warren and Najee Harris get a lot.
Yeah, I'm not a big Najee Harris guy. I'm
not either.
None of my teams have not one share of Najee Harris.
This defense is one that you can run on. So
I agree. I agree.
There's 2 Monday night games, and we'll get out of here.
Right.
Philadelphia and their high-powered offense is traveling to Tampa Bay, who don't have the greatest of defenses right now. Do you expect similar to last Thursday night where they just put up a bunch of points?
That game, I think the spread's 5. I think Philadelphia's favored. I think it's gonna be a close game. I see Baker Mayfield loves when the lights are on him, loves the attention, loves the prime time. I feel that Tampa Bay is a great story.
Baker Mayfield's a great story right now.
I mean, I root for that guy, but again, Philadelphia's just every position they're stacked. I mean, Swift was unstoppable last week.
Now, if their DBs are hurt again, They were missing Bradbury and their starting safety last week. I haven't looked it up. If those two are out, I think Godwin and Mike Evans are smart plays.
I think I would start both those guys. I think Mayfield's not a bad start, but if you have somebody better, of course, start him.
I think Rashad White is a stretch this week.
I would bench Rashad White. I'm afraid of that Philadelphia.
Unless you don't have a choice, right?
Yeah. And I think Hurts will have a big game. Of course, you got to start Smith. Of course, you got to start A.J. Brown. And I think Swift has proven that he's the number one running back, so he'll be getting the ball.
Do you believe me now when I say stay away from Dallas Goedert?
I hope he has a big game. I'm praying now he has a big game. I'm praying.
I hope for his sake he does. But I just don't think Jalen Hurts utilizes the tight end well. I don't think it's Dallas.
He hasn't yet. You're 100% right. He has not. But either has San Francisco. Brock Montana hasn't done either. So let's not pretend like Kittle's getting the ball I don't even know he's on the team.
Now, fortunately for you Bengals fans, you have one extra day because you don't play till the late game Monday night to get Joe Burrow healthy. Do you expect him to play? And then what do you expect out of that game?
If you could start somebody else, start him. I have no faith in Joe Burrow right now. I'm off the bandwagon.
So I'm in a super flex league, and I have Joe Burrow, Matt Stafford, and Daniel Jones.
I would bench Burrow.
Even Daniel Jones against San Francisco on a short week.
I told you that Jones is going to throw the ball a lot. He'll have 40 attempting passes.
And run himself.
He'll be running the ball. I mean, he'll be all over 200 yards passing.
You heard it here from Ross the Boss. I'm going to play Matt Stafford and Daniel.
I would have played, but would you play Burrow? You seen the stat sheet? You don't have to watch the games.
I don't feel real comfortable with him. But I also know he's like 3 passes away to jump Jamar Chase to putting up.
Listen, but he's not the Joe Burrow from last year. He's hurt.
Not yet.
He's got. People, Bengal fans are like, "Oh, we got Joe Burrow's hurt." I've had calf strains. It doesn't take 2 weeks to get better. It takes 3 months.
Is it time? I'm going to change topics on you. Is it time to believe in Puka Nacua?
Yes, this guy broke every rookie record. I think starting out the season, and this guy, Stafford keeps feeding the ball. Why not? As long as Coop's out of the game, Cooper Kupp, you're fine. I mean, it's just I don't know when Cooper Kupp's coming back. And maybe the Rams should just get rid of him, trade him now when he's worth a lot, and let them do what they're doing. They're playing good.
Here's what I want to see: Cooper Kupp, to the Chiefs. Give Patrick.
Why do you want the Chiefs to get better like that? That's the last thing I want, Casey.
But I want to see Patrick Mahomes with an alpha receiver again. I just love watching that. Then here I'll take him. Cooper Kupp to the Giants.
First of all, I don't think monetarily they can do it because of the cap.
No, I know. I'm not saying it's realistic. I'm saying it's what I'd like to see.
But I doubt the Rams. They don't trade. They don't make these crazy trades anymore than the midseason. They have to wait till the season's done.
Yeah. So are you starting any other Rams? Are you starting Stafford this weekend? Are you starting?
I don't have any shares of him. I think Stanford's going to have 250 yards and 2 touchdowns. So take it as you wish. You can start him. You don't have to start him. I think he'll have a big game I think he'll look good against the Bengals, like everybody else has.
And what about Kyren Williams?
Kyren Williams, I love. He'll be running. He's the main guy now, obviously, because Cam Akers is gone, left town. Right. And I have a feeling that Tutu Atwell is going to have a pretty good game. I don't know why. I just get that feeling. I just see him scoring.
Is Eli Apple still a defensive back for the Bengals?
No, he's been gone a long time. He plays for
whoever he guards. They're going to target.
No, who's he played for? Is it Atlanta? I forgot where he went. But I saw him get a pass interference call against him when I watched the game. No, I don't mind Eli. I just don't trust him as a DB. He gets burned a lot, so I'm happy he's gone. But he makes good plays too. But it should be a good week.
He's on the Dolphins now.
That's where I saw him in the Dolphins. I mean, he gets burned all the time, Casey. I love his name though. He's one of the greatest DB names ever in history. Eli Apple, great name. But it's going to be a good week of football, Casey, and there's a lot of great college games too, especially your Penn State's playing Iowa. That's going to be a fun game also. So there's a lot of great stuff going on this weekend. And, Joe Burrow owners, just beware. try not to start him for the rest of until he gets better. The situation's not getting better overnight, and it's not going to get better over a week. It's going to take a few weeks for him to be the same player. I wish I had other news for you, but I don't. As much as I want him to be the old Joe Burrow, he's not right now. His calf's not going to let him.
All right, give me a bold prediction for this weekend so we can get out of here.
Bold prediction: I say the Bears will make a game of it against Kansas City. I already said that though. And then I would say the leading passer for the week will be Jared Goff out of Detroit. Will have the most yards of any quarterback. In the NFL. He'll have the best game out of anybody this week. So if you have Goff, start him ASAP. Or if you play daily fantasy stuff, start him.
Okay. I'm going to say Washington wins by 6 points over Buffalo. And that Sam Howell ends up with 3 total touchdowns, 2 in the air and 1 on the ground.
That's a good prediction. And then let me just give one more. I'm just saying if there's anything else that pops in my mind that I haven't said yet. I think Green Bay is going to destroy the Saints in Green Bay this weekend also. So if you have any Green Bay players, make sure you start them. And I think the Saints are going to get, I know they're 2-0, but I think they're going to have their first loss in Green Bay this week.
All right. Write them down so we can talk about them on Tuesday.
Yep.
Well, thanks again for another great 45 minutes of football talk. I could do this all day, but we got to go. So I hope everybody has fantasy success this weekend. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below the video. We'll be glad to respond to them. Ross, as always, thanks for your insights, your strong opinions, and sharing your wisdom with us. And I will see you on Tuesday.
1 o'clock, 4 o'clock Eastern.